Hi, welcome to Viewpoint. I'm Lily Neuman, and Viewpoint's mission is to bring you programs that educate, inform, and raise awareness of issues that are in our community. And we do this by bringing you people and our guests that are on the front lines facing these issues. And my co-host is Susan Salomone, Drug Crisis in Our Backyard. Thanks, Susan, for being here. Welcome. One more show.
Thank you, Lily. Thanks for having me. And today we have our guests are Roger Williams and Jamelis from Children's Village, the Sanctuary Program. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You know, Roger, when I wanted to have you on, we've worked together for a long time.
That's for sure.
In the field. We're only 20 and 22. You're 22. And a lot of people don't know what the Sanctuary is and what you do. So could you tell us about the Sanctuary and your program?
Sure. I'd love to. First, I want to thank you for having us on the program here. This is terrific. A great opportunity to really share what we do at Children's Village with you guys and your audience here. So we really appreciate the opportunity for doing that. The Sanctuary is a runaway and homeless youth program for young people 12 to 17 years old. And we allow young people from both Westchester and Rockland County to come to the Sanctuary. And it's strictly a voluntary program. Some of them come because they're running away from home. Some are running away from problems, abuse, neglect. Some are coming just because they need respite services. And the respite services are reflective of there being turmoil in the house, and rather than have that possibly escalate into something more profound, they can come to the Sanctuary, allow things to cool off a little bit, and stay with us. So we accept both boys and girls. So having both boys and girls, teenagers in the Sanctuary is always a challenge, because for some way or another, love is always in bloom at the Sanctuary. So we have a lot going on. But we have an excellent staff, and they're so well trained in working with our young people. All the young people who come there have some crisis going on in their life. So the staff is trained in therapeutic crisis interventions. They're trained in working with behavioral issues. But again, the Sanctuary is strictly a voluntary program. So the young people who do come there because they want to be there. Mm-hmm. They can't be adjudicated and sent to the Sanctuary. We don't have locks on the doors and bars on the windows. And at any time, if they choose to leave, they may leave. They don't have to stay with us. If they say, Mr. Williams, I don't like the food, so I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. They can go. We'll certainly talk to them and explain to them why they might want to stay. But if they choose to leave, they're certainly welcome to do so.
Now, you say it's voluntary. The kids can come any way they can get to you. Their parents have to be notified that they're with you, correct?
Right. Within the first 24 hours, runaway and homeless youth regulations require that we contact their guardians, whoever their guardian might be, if it's a parent, an aunt, an uncle, grandparents, and let them know that the youth is with us. And then we make a determination at that time whether or not we can divulge the location of the Sanctuary, because it is a confidential location.
Wow,
We've had young people who have come there and have been escaping violence of a number of different kinds of ways, whether it's street gangs or things in the house, and we don't want that being brought to the Sanctuary, so we keep it as a confidential location.
What happens if parents goes, no, I don't want my kid there?
Well, it depends on what's going on. We're sometimes caught in a bind. What we don't want to do is we don't want to have a young person come to us to escape consequences for cutting school, breaking curfew, doing things that they shouldn't be doing. But we do want to make sure that every youth has a safe place to be. And even if the guardian doesn't want them there at that moment, what we usually find is when we talk to the guardian, explain to them what we do, how we do it, explain to them the voluntary nature and the benefit to the guardian of maybe having a little bit of space between them, then we're able to sort of talk with them and enable them to see the value of the youth staying at the sanctuary. The average length of stay is only 8 or 9 days.
Okay.
So they're not there for 30 days or 21 days. It's not that kind of a house. And the house is it's just kind of a sprawling ranch house.
Yeah, I was going to just ask you that. How many bedrooms are there, and how many beds, how many children can you accommodate at one time?
Well, there's 6 bedrooms upstairs, so it's kind of a ranch house, but it does have the bedrooms upstairs. And in those rooms, we have one that's just a single room, and then everything else is either a double or a triple.
Okay.
So they're separated by the bathrooms and a wall. So the boys are on this side, the girls are on that side. In order for one to get to the other, they've got to go past our desk.
Got it.
And we have 24-hour staff, 7 days a week. So we work real hard at giving the young people a safe place to be and making sure that they're comfortable and their needs are met with us.
So you have about 20 beds?
We have 14 altogether.
Okay.
In a pinch, we can bring out the sofa bed, and it makes it 15.
Okay.
But we're licensed for 14 young people.
All right.
Yeah,
And do you always make sure it's even girls or boys or whoever comes through the
No,
door?
it's whoever comes through the door, and usually we have more girls than boys.
No way, that's interesting.
Yeah. So on the one side of the sanctuary, we have 7 beds. And the rest are 9 beds, I guess.
Okay.
And then the rest are on the other side, and that's kind of what we think of as the boys' side.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's funny because we talk about drug addiction a lot because, that's kind of how we came together, Lily and I. And we find that mostly boys get in trouble with drugs. So to hear you say that mostly girls are there, I know it's not a place for only people that use drugs, but
Right.
to hear that the girls come there is kind of interesting because usually we find in our business that it's mostly boys. So you just wonder, maybe the boys go out and use something to make themselves feel better, and the girls look for sanctuary instead.
Yeah.
That's
The
kind of
girls
interesting.
may feel more vulnerable.
Right.
Where the guys will maybe hole up somewhere else, but the girls will feel maybe more vulnerable.
And then you have transitional housing for 18 to 24. What's that?
Yeah. So we have a program called Life's Bridges. And Life's Bridges is for young people around 17. The brochure says 16. Sometimes we've taken a 16-year-old, not that often, up to 21. And then another program called Stepping Stones that goes up to the age of 24. And those are independent living programs where youth, again, a voluntary program, where youth come in. And what we're asking them to do is work at improving their independent living skills. So they will get involved with, we'll get involved with them with making sure that they're working, saving their money, know how to budget their money, going to school, finishing, either getting their GED, graduating from high school, or enrolling in college. And really helping them to learn to live independently. And that's a big challenge. We had a couple of weeks ago, we had the folks from Key Bank come by and do a budgeting group with us and all of our young people in the Yonkers office. So a lot of them never had a checking account. They don't have a savings account.
Right.
They don't know what it's going to cost to live independently. And when you you give them that information, they don't always believe you.
Right.
And so we work real hard at trying to get them to
And how
be
long can
independent.
kids stay
They can
at
stay
those two
there,
programs?
some until they're 21.
Okay.
Some until they're
Long time.
24. But typically it's 18 to 24 months.
Okay, it's
Wow,
still a
that's-
nice time.
It's a
that
long
people
time.
can be safe.
Yeah, they can be safe. We do a lot of work with the LGBTQ community, both at the sanctuary and our street outreach program, and certainly in the independent living program, Life's Bridges. Yeah.
So let's move on to Jamilis. Could you tell us a little bit about how you know Roger, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. So, I was once a teen, like we were all. I had a lot of issues at home financially. I had a single parent mother, and things were really, really rocky at home. So I was really looking for the respite services, and a counselor from school, and a counselor from from outreach, someone my mom knew referred me to the sanctuary program. He said, it's a great place. It's a nice house. It's very welcoming. You should give it a try. You guys need a break. This is a perfect place. So I gave it a try. I went to the sanctuary at 16 years old, and it was the best experience I had. It was very welcoming, and it was exactly what they said, a nice house, activities, and that's where I met Roger. And also, I was affiliated with the street outreach program.
What's that?
The street outreach program, we're a mobile unit. We go out to communities all over Westchester and Rockland County. We reach out to teens, and we tell them about our services that the Children's Village have to offer. And we try to tell them about the sanctuary. We do a lot of HIV testing, STD counseling, and they're all free services, of course. And we also do give a lot of resources out. So we give a lot of clothing. We give a lot of, condoms, contraceptives. We give a lot of things that we have on the truck. Food, toys, even in the, food bank. You name it. We give out a whole lot of things.
How big is his truck? It sounds like it's got a lot of stuff on it.
With a lot of room in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a large RV, so it's a
Wow.
recreational vehicle that's been customized for Children's Village, and it says Streetwise and sort
Wow.
of like a graffiti kind of writing on it, and when we pull into a neighborhood, it's like just attracts everybody.
Yeah. Wow.
So they know about us quite a bit.
So
Can I
you have a
go on?
schedule around that? You have a schedule that you go into Rockland on certain days, and you're in Westchester. There's many towns in Westchester, so
Yes, we typically go to Rockland County Fridays and Saturdays.
okay,
From when to when?
Our outreach hours are usually 2 to 10.
2 to 10.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's when, teens get out of school, and on Saturdays teens are out. We can go to areas and really reach out to them.
You go to the mall.
We go a lot of places where teens will be. So malls.
Yeah.
We go near the movies. We go to a lot of certain streets where a lot of teens hang out.
Yep.
And parks, you name it. Even on nearby schools too.
So you do Westchester Monday through Thursday?
We do Westchester Wednesdays, and
Yeah. Okay. So what happened? You stayed there for how long did you stay in the sanctuary?
I believe I stayed probably 2 weeks. 2 weeks, yes.
And then you went home?
And then I went home. My mother came in. We had a meeting, and things were fixed. We started improving on our relationship, and just being at the sanctuary, that wasn't just it. I was in sanctuary. Roger invited me in part of a youth committee program we had when we were doing talking about the sanctuary. We're part of the making films and awareness of the sanctuary. And from there, I started working at the street outreach program as a youth advocate. And now I'm here working as a staff.
Okay.
Well,
With the
congratulations.
Well, that's
Thank you.
great.
That's great. That's great.
That's
And
a
you know
success
what?
story.
And you being here, because I don't know what people think about homeless kids and kids that have issues at home. It cuts through everything. There is
does.
no
Yep.
one said. I mean, you're a beautiful young lady,
Thank you.
and looking at you here, you'd say, huh? Trouble? And
Yeah.
so I'm glad you're here to break that stereotype, and the sanctuary's here for anyone who needs any kind of service.
A lot of our young people come from the urban centers like Yonkers and Mount Vernon, but we certainly also get a lot from Yorktown. We've gotten young people from Chappaqua and Armonk. We've gotten young people from Peekskill and Ossining and Terrytown and Sleepy Hollow.
That's right. Wow.
So they really come to us from all over.
So now, how do you get the word out about your facility?
Well, shows like this is helpful.
Okay. Do you do marketing?
We do marketing. We've got some flyers that we give out that look like the ones behind us. We also, within Westchester County and Rockland County, there's both organizations that are called networks in
Yeah.
Westchester County, and we attend the network meetings. They're divided up into regions from southern Westchester to northern Westchester. And in Rockland County, they have similar kinds of things, but they call them collaborative meetings. So we attend those. We have open houses. We've had the Department of Probation, Child Protective Services, school guidance counselors come to the shelter to see what it's like, because once somebody's come and seen the shelter, they really have a feeling for what we do and how we do it. And they also get a feeling for the staff and the caring vibe that the staff gives out when they come in there. So they're then a lot more ready to talk to young people about what the sanctuary is like. And even for those young people who are hesitant to come there, we can have them come by and take a look at the place and chat with the staff. And then if they decide to come, they're more than welcome. If they decide not, well, maybe now's not the right time for them, but they know where we are and they can tell their friends about us and that kind of thing.
And the kids go to school also. I mean,
Yeah,
you take
yeah.
you bus them to their schools.
Right. One of the tenets that Children's Village has, and certainly the sanctuary adopts, is that education is important. And if what we're trying to do is normalize somebody who's come into the shelter, then their schooling is very important to them, and it is to us. So what we do is through the McKinney-Vento Act, we're able to get funding to transport the young people to their home schools. So whether they're in Yorktown or Yonkers, we have a cab company that we work with, because in the past we used to do it only through the local buses. And we teach them how to take the buses, and you take the 14 and you can go here and there. But what would happen is they'd be missing first and second period of school because
it's a lot of buses.
That's a lot of buses to get to Mount Vernon or up to
Exactly.
Yorktown.
Exactly.
And so we came up with the idea of using the McKinney-Vento Act money to help reimburse us for the cabs. So that's how they're getting back and forth to
Now,
their home school.
Is the sanctuary, how is it funded?
Well, we have 9 funding streams.
Okay.
And they range anywhere from Health and Human Services, the federal money, to state money through Office of Children and Family Services, OCFS, in Albany. The Westchester County Youth Bureau has been a real champion of our cause. Aero Edwards and Dr. Pagan from the Youth Bureau have really been supportive of the sanctuary. We also get funding from Rockland County, from their Youth Bureau, and also from the Department of Social Services in both Westchester and Rockland County. So between all of those funding streams, we're able to maintain our program, quite well with good staffing and.
You do an excellent job.
Yeah, well, we love what we do.
I know.
Yeah.
And do you have any plans of going? You're not in Putnam or Dutchess, no?
We're not in Putnam or Dutchess. We are thinking about and have had some preliminary conversations about a year ago with the counties across the river to provide some outreach services with the mobile unit. So that right now the mobile unit is out there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. What we'd like to do is use it more. And by maybe reaching into towns like Newburgh and Middletown, Walden, those areas, we might be able to have an impact in those areas. So that's something in the future we'd like to do, and we certainly hope we can do that.
Okay, so going north up from Rockland.
Yes.
In that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I'm sure you're familiar with Search for Change.
Indeed.
Yes, so they are in Westchester as well as Putnam.
Yeah.
And so they have some good housing also, but that's for over 18, and there are certain criteria that has to be met. Do you find that any of the people in the sanctuary as teens wind up in Search for Change or go to Search for Change for living arrangements after?
What we've found is a lot of them will apply to our supportive housing program because they want to stay in Westchester. And one of the things that we really are focusing on is even if a young person is coming into the independent living program, that doesn't discount the family. We want them to stay involved with the family. And it's amazing how you'll see a family begin to gather back around a youth when they've had a little bit of time to separate. And so we really press for family reunification, even if you're living on your own.
Right. Right.
So that's an
Do you do any
important piece.
family counseling or family groups or
We-
anything to
we
bring
d-
the family together in like sort of a support group?
We do sometimes at the sanctuary, as Jamilis was saying, in discharge planning meetings and
Yeah.
talking about what are the next steps and that kind of thing. But a big part of what we do is also connecting families and young people to local services. So we'll make a referral to Westchester Jewish Community Services or Family Services of Westchester or Family Ties, those kinds of programs that are going to be with the families and really focusing on doing therapy. So since we're such sort of a short-term program,
Yeah.
we don't want to open up things
right.
that we can't resolve ourselves. So we tend to focus on having those kinds of services provided by community providers.
I
You know
see.
what? You have kids from Children's Village, and they can be in Children's Village up to 18, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have kids from Children's Village go to your transitional housing up to 24 or 21?
Not usually. We haven't had a lot of them. On occasion we do. But what ends up happening is a lot of the young people who are in Children's Village on the Dobbs Ferry campus are from the New York City area. And so our programs with supportive housing focus on the Westchester youth.
Got it.
And so we don't often get a lot of transition from one to the other. But if there are young people who are living on their own in Westchester, perhaps after they've left Children's Village, and they're struggling and not making it, then the opportunity does exist for them, if they're living in Westchester, to get involved with our programs, both the Stepping Stones program in Yonkers and Life's Bridges.
Do you have the phone numbers? Do you know them off the top of your head? Sorry to put you on the spot.
I do.
We'll look into the camera too, and tell everyone how to get in touch with you. And
So what you can do is you can contact the sanctuary through our 1-800 number, and that's 888-995-1583. And then our number at the our other number at the sanctuary is 914-593-0667.
and people can contact you for the Stepping Stones and
And right, at that 593 number, they can contact us for Stepping Stones. The administrative building for the Life's Bridges programs and Stepping Stones is right next to the sanctuary, so it all works out
Now,
pretty
the
well.
Stepping Stones and the Bridges, that's 18 to 24, you said?
Stepping Stones is 18 to 24. Life's Bridges is up to 21.
Up to 21.
Yeah.
So how many beds do you have there?
Oh, gosh, now you got me. So Stepping Stones has 12.
Okay.
Okay, that was easy. And Life's Bridges has 6.
Okay.
And then we have another program that's part of Life's Bridges, but it's for young people who are still in the care and custody of the Commissioner of Social Services, so they're still in foster care.
Okay.
But they're getting ready to age out.
Which is
And
I thought that was 16.
18.
18,
yeah,
okay.
They're getting ready to age out, so they can come into our independent living program. It's called SILP, Supportive Independent Living Program. And that is, right now we have 6 in that program. We can have up to 12.
wow,
So 24.
a lot of
the math,
service.
right?
Yeah, well, that's 18 is about 24 in
Yeah,
total from
yeah,
one through the
yeah,
other.
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah. So now,
Yeah.
what is the criteria to get into the program that is for adults, like say 21?
Like the Stepping Stones kind of
Yeah,
program?
exactly.
Well, they have to fill out an application. In the application, we ask them sort of, what are their life skills? What do you know how to do? What are you good at? And then what are your challenges? And then we have an interviewing process where we'll talk to them about what life in our program would be like, what the expectations are, things that I talked about just a little bit earlier: education, employment, finance, doing all of those kinds of things. And then we require that there's a curfew. You know,
Okay.
you can only, especially if you've just started, you've got to be in by a certain
What
time. During the week, it's about 10 o'clock.
Okay.
On the weekends, it's 11. And then once you've passed curfew time, it goes from 11 to 12.
Okay.
It's not too much good
That's
ever happens
fine.
after
You're
midnight.
absolutely right.
Right.
So,
Now, do they have to pay to be there?
no.
They don't
There's
have to
no
pay
cost at all.
No
There's
cost
no
to them.
cost to them at all. And again, we have several funding streams that
yes.
fund that also. So, and as a matter of fact, what we tried to do is get them not to spend their money. Because what we want them to do is be able to save so that they've got money for a month's rent. Well, nowadays it's like 2 months' rent
Yeah.
that you've
Right.
got to give.
Wow.
And the security, and you got to get furniture, and you have to make sure you have food. And there's just so many expenses. You want to hook up cable, you want to get your phone going. So really we try to convince them to save more than the half that we
Right.
require. So we give them bus tickets. So if they have to get
So they really
transported
don't have
back
to
and
use
forth
their
to school,
money.
they really don't.
Good.
They really don't. If they need to do laundry, we get them money for the
Wow.
laundry. We give them the laundry detergent. We give them lots of
So
food.
you take it's almost it's creating a home.
It is.
It's their home.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful, wonderful program. And I wish more people really. I remember a kid, and I'll talk fast because we're out of time. I was working in Wendoti about 1995, and I didn't know about the sanctuary. And he was aging out of Children's Village, and he kept relapsing because he'd been there for so long, he didn't know what to do. And I remember not having a resource for him. Where were we going to put this young man? And I always think about him, what happened. And there are kids out there that don't know about these resources.
And it always amazes me that people don't know about the sanctuary as much as we get out there. But people change. People change who are in child protective services. They move
Right.
on to other roles. Probation moves into other roles. Yeah.
You know what? I really want to thank you. And we're out of time, and we could talk about this forever. It was great having you. Thank you, Jamilis, for coming here and sharing your story. Really, thank you. And Roger,
Thank you.
it was a pleasure
It's great
having
to see you again,
You
Miller.
too. We'll do this again.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for
And
coming.
thank you for
really.
coming.
Thank you.
It's been great.
And
It's very important that people know.
And